Now, everybody, Cantonese Cat here. It is true, the rumors are true. I haven't taken a shower for a few days, give or take. I don't like showers. Showers are bad for cats, and as a part of my procrastination efforts, I'm going to make another double feature video featuring Mara and Riot. Nobody's filed any complaints about me not showering yet, so I'm going to get to it some point today. But here we are, monthly chart of Mara, showing you right here. Even without these fancy indicators, you can see that Mara has been making a higher high and a higher low, and it's just recently making another higher high and maybe an attempt to make a higher low before continuation. And this was confirmed, as you can see, the Bollinger Band earlier with Bollinger Band expansion, with price riding up along the upper part of the Bollinger Band. Matter of fact, actually is hugging their upper Bollinger Band on his way up to help further expand the Bollinger Band, both upwards and downwards, looking kind of like a crocodile opening his mouth, as my friend Danny would say. The 20-month moving average very nicely curl up. What happened last time when this happened, you say? Well, last time when this happened, with the Bollinger Band expansion and 20-month moving average pointing up, you have a God candle in November 2020. This God candle in November 2020 also coincided with the small cap index IWM making all-time high. I'm waiting for IWM to make an all-time high to see whether or not that's the case. Again, these are small cap stocks. The market cap for Marathon is only a few billion. I wonder whether or not this trend's going to play out. Yeah, it probably will, but nothing's ever 100%, but it looks like it's doing pretty well so far. Another way to look at it, look at the trend. The Ichimoku cloud. Bullish cross of the Tenkan Kijun cross right here. Price has found its way back above the Kijun and the Tenkan. And both of these are going to serve as pretty decent support moving forward, most likely. If you look over at the volume shelf here, it's pretty clear in terms of what's been happening. Price has just been bouncing between this lower volume shelf and this kind of upper volume shelf right up here. It has been bouncing for about 3 months now. Now we're kind of getting stuck at this upper part of this volume shelf right on top right here, around 30. And the bottom of this around 21. And price, so far this month's candle has only got about 6 days worth of price action. This is a monthly candle for March. You still have another 15 days for the remainder, 15 trading days for the remainder of the month. So who knows what's going to happen. All I know is that price has really been trying to break above this volume shelf up top right here. Is spending about the 4th month trying to do it. The more price tries to break something, the more likely it's going to get broken. I mean, it's just like me holding a cookie jar and just throwing on the floor. Didn't break the first time, didn't break the second time, didn't break the third time. Yeah, there's no guarantee it's going to break on the 4th time, but it's going to get weaker and weaker, and most likely the cookie jar is going to break. And when it breaks, there's probably a lot of coins that's going to flow out, and I'm going to use those coins and go to the candy store and be very happy about it. In this particular case, when this gets broken, you could probably test the top of this monthly Ichimoku cloud right up here. And there are a lot of things supporting that it could end up doing that because of the bullish cross here, because of the 20-month moving average is pointing up, and because price has spent a significant amount of time, trying to break above this level right here. So once it happens, next up's probably going to be around like low 40s, maybe just $40. The volume shelf here is really around 40, so I think you're probably end up getting a lot of resistance once you get a 40 if it breaks around this, breaks over this range right here. But so far it's looking pretty good. I mean, I think it's a bull trend. I think the only knock on Mara is that Clean Spark looks sexier, and people like sexy. This is pretty good looking. I mean, it looks like it's the chart that likes to take showers. Not like me, but you know, it's pretty good looking. I would say his perm, his hair is getting ready to go out to go to the ball. It's just not wearing like a gorgeous dress like Clean Spark is wearing, but I think it's okay. Sometimes I prefer having a little bit of balance. Looking at a weekly chart, I wonder how many people are gonna start calling a double top right here. I do not call double top unless it is confirmed, and it won't confirm unless it breaks down beneath like 14.5 really. And if it breaks down, then you might have a double top. Even then, there's plenty of support underneath. I'm not really that worried. Do I think that this double top formation is going to come to fruition? No, I don't think so. Why that is because you have a pretty upsloping bull market support band that can potentially serve as support. And when it gets down to about 19 range, which is where the bull market support band is right here at. So let's say next week is, we never know what's going to happen from week to week, right? Let's say next week is bearish. It comes back and tests 19. I think it's going to find pretty good support. I don't care if it wicks down, but you're going to get pretty decent support here because it's upsloping. And because of that, I don't really think that this double top would necessarily work out. If anything, it looks like this is a breakout, and it looks like it's just kind of back testing this breakout of this volume shelf right here. So far, the price action still look pretty bullish. And this wick right here, arguably, it just formed a higher high. So this is a bull trend, and it proved that on the monthly. And right now, the weekly is also showing you that too, because the bull market support trend is pointing up. And if you're worried about what happens underneath, these are some of your risk levels down here. You have a full bull trend, 20 weekly pointing up, 50 weekly pointing up. 100 is starting to really flatten out and probably going to point out over the next month or two. It's a pretty nice bull trend, and these levels are going to serve as support in case the price breaks down. I think 50 is going to be a pretty nice support. Right now it's around 14, and 100 is going to be around here. I think it's going to find pretty good support around 12. Honestly, though, when price breaks above this volume shelf, as I think it will, because it spent a significant amount of time trying to do that, when it breaks above this volume shelf, looks like the resistance up here is not as strong as the support down here. This is what we mean by, risk reward ratio. Plenty of support underneath, plenty of moving averages pointing up to provide support, and not a whole heck of resistance up there. Looking pretty good. Why is it this level has a lot of potential resistance that needs time to work through? Well, it's just spanned almost a year and a half at this range around 2021 and 2022. A lot of people are stuck here. There's a lot of supply of the stock. It's going to take some time to absorb other supply before going up, but once it does, again, I show you the Ichimoku cloud, maybe around 40. And the volume shelf, next thing you know, is probably around high 40s, low 50s. And after that, you're really talking about price exploration. And this bull trend right here is supportive that it could do that. None of these are financial advice. None of these are guarantees. This cat doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't taken a shower for days. But what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a bull trend, so I'm going to point it out. I do have money in it. You do you, because none of these bull trend would necessarily always work out. But the trend is positive, and I'm pointing out I have my money in it. This is not financial advice. If you end up losing money from this, I end up losing money together with you. This is all for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. I want you to make up your own mind based on showing you the data that I'm seeing. The weekly Ichimoku cloud is not going to show you too much. The price broke above, and it's kind of working some stuff here with the Tenkan and the Kijun, but you still have a pretty nice bull trend up here. So that's really MARA. One last thing I want to show you about MARA is everybody asks me about price target. I don't know how far the price is going to go up. Nobody does. You can draw a rough level here with the Fibonacci levels. It's not going to be exact. I just literally just point and point. It's not going to be exact. But interesting, right? It got rejected at the 0.382 level. and it got support down here at the 0.236 level. It's just been bouncing around between these two levels. The bull trend, the trend is up because it keeps on forming these higher highs and higher lows. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to range, and eventually when it stops ranging, I think it's going to break out to a next level. And after that, it's going to break out to the next level. Usually 0.618 is a pretty strong support resistance level. So I suspect if I had to guess, maybe you're going to start getting a little bit more, resistance up here at the volume shelf, right around where the 0.618 is going to be at, if it ends up breaking out. But these are some of the higher levels that I might be potentially looking at. And if you're saying that it's kind of ridiculous to look up higher, I want to point out to you that MARA has done the same thing before, where it just goes parabolic when it does. It may not do that this cycle. Nothing's ever going to be a guarantee. This could be the top right here, and this could be the double top right here, and it could just keep going down from here. I'm not positioned as such, and if I end up, being wrong, losing money from it, that's okay. I don't, I'm well diversified. Miners are probably only about like 7 or 8% of my portfolio, and I have plenty of other ones to help me weather the storm, including actually owning actual Bitcoin. It looks like it's doing pretty well too so far. So that's MARA. I'm going to show you very briefly on what I think about Riot. Very similar thing. I'm going to go through Riot a little bit faster here. It's been bouncing between this volume shelf up here and the volume shelf down here. And once it spends a significant amount of time over here between these two levels, once it breaks above, and I'm talking about once it breaks about 20 or so, things could get, pretty decently going up here. There's another like smaller volume shelf here, but the majority of volume shelf is really where it's at right now. Once it breaks about, 23 could be potential level all the way up to maybe 38. You're going to have a shelf right here. Then you're going to have a lot of friction. It's probably going to end up maybe ranging around here for another couple of months, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? Depending on what IWM does, depending on what Bitcoin does. But it is also having some pretty constructive monthly price action so far. It doesn't quite have that higher high. It did form a higher low, and it keeps on forming these higher lows. Right now it's kind of forming a little bit of like a symmetric triangle, ranging around here. It doesn't have the same bullishness, and if you look at the Bollinger Band, it's showing very similar things. Its price is still at the upper part of the Bollinger Band, which is bullish, and the 20-month moving average is pointing up, but it just doesn't have the same impulsiveness like it wants to ride the upper Bollinger Band up quite just yet. It could change. There's also not quite a full Bollinger Band expansion like you're seeing with MARA, so it's just not going to be, quite as impulsive so far. But Riot has done the same thing on the last cycle. Like, it's just comparing positive here a little bit. For a long time, there's not really like a Bollinger expansion. If anything, you have a little bit of a squeeze right up here and here, kind of like what we got here and there. But eventually, in November of 2020, when IWM hit that God candle and makes an all-time high, so did Riot had a God candle, and it really pushes up and it expands the Bollinger Band up and down, and it really accelerated the uptrend of the 20-month moving average. I wonder if the same thing is going to happen. No guarantees, but so far it's still pretty constructive price action. There's no guarantee of any of this stuff. Next, you could very well end up having a big giant bad candle. Next thing you know, something happens and Bitcoin goes to like 40, 30, 12K. I don't think it's going to happen, but you could have a trend change, right? I mean, who knows? But so far, I follow the trend. Trend still looks very bullish. I still try and find, from historical price action, see what it's going to do. It looks pretty decent. Ichimoku Cloud has shown you a bullish Tengen Kijun cross. Unfortunately, unlike MARA, where price is above both of these averages, the Kijun and the Tengen, Riot is kind of below both right now, so it might serve a little bit as a resistance. It's going to need some pretty impulsive price action, trying to push it back up and try and use these two as support moving forward. And when it does, I think it's probably going to end up hitting the top of the cloud right here, which is going to be maybe around 30. After it breaks out about this range, about like 20, I think 30 is probably a, or like high 20s, even ends up hitting down here. It's going to be a pretty reasonable price target for Riot, but it just doesn't have the like Clean Spark or MARA does. Still looks pretty darn good. Weekly chart, bull market support band. Yeah, it's kind of oscillating around this bull market support band, building up a lot of energy. It's kind of closed down a little bit, but it doesn't really guarantee there's anything bad. I mean, so far it's just been a flattened band right here. You can close down a little bit down below for a couple months or just for like a month. Eventually it's going to bounce back up. It's just oscillating around here trying to find a direction. That's what a symmetrical triangle basically tells you. I'm not really that, concerned about price action, although I'm not in Riot. But I'm not really that concerned about the price action. Look at the Ichimoku cloud. Looks like it's been trying to bounce from the bottom of the cloud up as well. But either way, it's kind of just been kind of oscillating around, still trying to find a direction, still waiting for what Bitcoin and IWDM is going to do. It's not as sexy as MARA. It's definitely not as sexy as Clean Spark. It's got a good librarian look to it, though. Nice glasses, kind of charming, got a good smile. It's not that sexy. It's not in a big red sexy dress. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit dirty today. I probably need to shower soon, and I'm gonna just end right here. Actually, before I end right there, I'm gonna show you one thing. People keep asking me about price target. I don't have price targets. I'm just gonna show you the Fibonacci levels. I'm gonna do it on the monthly because it gives you a better look in terms of what it kind of looks like. On the monthly, Riot has been lagging behind because it's trying to just, got rejected here at the 0.236 level and just kind of been hugging the 0.136 level, trying to break out, whereas the other miners, they're kind of around here already. But Riot is still down here. It could catch up. I'm going to show you some of the price targets up here. I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to hit some of the higher price target up here, but I'm showing you some of the potential price targets up here in case if things go parabolic and in case you're looking for price target to take profits if you're a trader. Feel free to look at it. This is just a rough number. I'm not drawing these exact, but these are just some rough numbers here for you to kind of go off by. All right. Getting close to 20-minute mark. Thank you for listening to my rambling. Have a good one. Bye.